ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजाः पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have been so eagerly waiting to get back with all of you to continue our discussion on Sundara Kanda. We're at a very critical moment where Sri Hanumanji, sitting on the branch of the Shimshupa tree, hiding between leaves, is witnessing all that Sitadevi is going through. And now, where we had left off, we're going to start from there, is Trijata had a dream. Sita Devi was standing under the Simshupa tree. Her hand was holding the branch of the tree. And then she put her single braided hair round one of the branches and round her neck at that moment to decide that there is no use to continue living anymore. Because Ravana, although he has given me 2 months of time, I don't trust him. He can do anything. He can do anything at any moment. Who knows whether he will honor the 2-month deadline? Right now, the Rakshasis are ready to eat me up. Ravana can suddenly change his mind. Rather than be killed by Ravana or any of these demonesses, I might as well just give up my life, because if I cannot be with Sri Ramachandra, then I don't need to be at all. At that moment, there were some auspicious signs in her body. And Ramayana, among other scriptures, is a scripture that pays attention to, indicates this science called, of course, the transformation in the body are called samudrika lakshanas. That's also the features of a person. But this is called Shakuna Shastra, by which certain indicators within nature, within the body, are meant to be taken as certain signs. The sign of something auspicious that's about to happen, or something inauspicious that's about to happen. In Sita Devi's case, she has all the auspicious signs in her body. And Valmiki actually goes into giving us all of those specifics, which we're going to look at. Now, in the entire Ramayana, this is the shortest chapter. It has only 8 verses. We can think of it as an ashtakam, if you will. I've called it Harsha Ashtakam. The 8 verses indicating Harsha, which is the sort of happiness or joy that is in Sita Devi's body. You can also call it Shubhashtakam because these are all auspicious signs. These signs are going to indicate to her that she will be released from Ravana's clasp. And more importantly, she will be united with Sri Ramachandra. So this prospect of meeting Ramachandra again, and very soon perhaps, has gotten her into a state of joy, even while her own life is in the midst of such severe distress and perhaps even death. As we go through these verses, I want to set it up before I actually show you the verses, and we'll go through them together. We might ask ourselves, what is the need for such description of bodily features? In fact, some of the features and the way it is described, someone might say, especially with a mundane view, might say, oh, this is romantic or perhaps erotic. But any one of us with a devotional mindset and a perspective, we understand that these are indicators of something fantastic that is being face to face with Sri Ramachandra again. So it is devotional. It is not mundane in any way. Furthermore, Sita Devi is Sri Ramachandra's Hladini potency. She is the potency of love. So she is very attractive. In fact, she is so attractive and her qualities are so immensely attractive that Sri Ramachandra, who is absolutely not concerned with anything mundane, great wealth, this beauty, this woman, that woman, so many of them are attracted to him, but he is not attracted to anybody because his mind is very, very fixed. Such Ramachandra's mind is stolen by Srimati Sita Devi. Just as we know that in Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami terms Srimati Radharani as Madan Mohana Mohini. Krishna attracts everybody. Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. So there is nothing attractive for Krishna, yet it is Srimati Radharani who completely attracts him. Similarly, Sri Ramachandra, who is beauty personified, all great qualities, is embodiment of all the best qualities. There is nothing out there that is attracting to him except Sita Devi. Now, not just the form of course, but all the qualities as well. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, the very last verse of that chapter, Shukadev Goswami, who is a complete lifelong celibate, says, Premnanuvrittaya Shilena Prashraya vanata sati Bhya Hriya cha bhavagya Bhartur Sita Aharan Manaha. That's the last word is Sita Aharan Manaha. Bhartur Manaha Aharat. She had completely attracted or stolen Sri Ramachandra's mind by all her wonderful qualities. Another is that she is Maya. So for those who are devotionally inclined, she is Yoga Maya. In that she completely captures and sustains the mind of the devotee. For one to feel a strengthening of devotional service to Sri Ramachandra. She can also be Mahamaya, where if a person is not devotionally inclined towards Sri Ramachandra, she can capture and sustain the mind of a materialist with the feelings of sensual enjoyment, but away from Sri Ramachandra. So Maya is very attractive and attractive. She is the force that attracts one either towards Sri Ramachandra or away from Sri Ramachandra, depending upon us, our as jivas, what our disposition is. This is what makes the difference between a Brahma Bhuta and a Jiva Bhuta. A Brahma Bhuta is person who says, I am one with the Lord. When I say I'm one, it shouldn't be shocking. One in the sense that we are one in nature. I belong to Sri Ramachandra. Therefore, recently we heard about Tava Asmi. I am yours. Versus a Jiva Bhuta who says, I'm separate from the Lord, or I'm on my own. This oneness is of quality. I am Brahma, Supreme Lord is also Brahman. Yet there is the distinction in the quantity. I am Anu. The Supreme Lord is Vibhu. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. Among all the living entities, Nityaha Nityanam, there is one entity who is unique. Chetanas Chetananam. Among all the conscious beings, there is one supremely conscious being. Eko Bahunam, one among many. Yo Vidadhati Kaman. And that unique person is the one who fulfills all the desires of everyone else. But who's describing all these beautiful features, the transformations in Sita's person? It's Valmiki. Valmiki is the one who chanted Sri Ramachandra's names for such a long period of time. One who has received the grace of Narada Muni, the blessings of Lord Brahma, the grace of Saraswati Devi. Now, such a person is not interested in anything mundane. These are also being observed by Hanuman, perfect celibate himself. So there cannot be any eroticism in it. Although there is nothing in the verses, you will find nothing erotic, is that the description of the eyes, the hair, the form of Sitadevi, one shouldn't consider these as mundane at all. Because if it is mundane, then there is no point. Why should it be in Ramayana? Secondly, because of these great personalities, Sri Hanumanji, Narada Muni, Lord Brahma, Valmiki Rishi, they have shown us what Rupa Goswami tells us. Ataha Shri Krishna Nama Adi na bhaved grahyam indriyar seva unmikhehi jivhadav swayam eva spuratyadaha. That the blunt senses cannot grasp the all transcendental Supreme Lord's names, forms, qualities, pastimes, unless one is oriented devotionally. Seva unmukhehi. Otherwise, na grahyam. Grahyam means to be able to hold or to grasp. Na grahyam, indriya, by the senses. So these explanations, as we go through, they may look outwardly as the description of Sita Devi's beauty. Yes, she is beautiful beyond comparison. But that unlimited beauty is actually even more enhanced by the more important aspect, which is for us, is the prospect of meeting Sri Ramachandra. That is the real essence of beauty. It's the joy that completely captivates the heart, and it appears in her features. I'm going to go to Chaitanya Charitamrita for a moment. In the Madhya Leela, there is a description of these feelings of Sambhoga, which is the union or meeting with Krishna, or Sri Ramachandra in our case, and Vipralambha, which is separation. So there it says, Sambhoga Vipralambha Bhede Dvivida Shringara Sambhogera Ananta Anga Nahi Antatara. In conjugal love or Shringara Rasa, there are two departments. I'm reading the translation. Meeting and separation. On the platform of meeting, there are unlimited varieties that are beyond description. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada indicates, similarly, Sambhoga is described in the following verse, quoted from the Vedic literature by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Anubhashya. And here are the aspects of Sambhoga. Darshana Alinganadin Adinam Anukulyan Nishevaya Yunor Ullasamarohan Bhavaha Sambhoga Iryate. Translation: meeting each other and embracing each other are aimed at bringing about happiness of the lover and the beloved. When this stage becomes increasingly jubilant, the resultant ecstatic emotion is called Sambhoga. When awakened, Sambhoga is divided into four categories. First one, Purva Raga Anantara. This is after Purva Raga, meaning attachment prior to meeting. This Sambhoga is called in brief Sankshipta. Manantara, after Mana, which is anger based on love, Sambhoga is called encroached. In Sanskrit, it's called Sankirna. The third one is called Kinchit Dura Pravasantara. After being a little distance away for some time, Sambhoga is called accomplished. In Sanskrit, it is called Sampanna. And the fourth is Sudura Pravasantara. So after being far away, Sambhoga is called perfection, Samriddhiman. The meetings of the lovers that take place in dreams also have these four divisions. So what we are going to hear about is the symptoms of Samriddhimana. She hasn't met Sri Ramachandra yet, but in her mind already all the symptoms are showing that Sri Ramachandra's presence will soon be experienced. So I'm going to share my screen and show you those verses, and we're going to go through them together. All right, let's see. There you go. Okay. So here's the first verse. There are only 8 in the chapter. We're going to go through them slowly and relish them. Tatha gatam tam vyathitam aninditam vyapeta harsham paridina manasam shubham nimittani shubhani bhejire naram shriya jushtam ivopajivinaha. Now, in all the verses, there are certain words that keep repeating. First of all is iva, just like. So in all the verses, I think in most verses, Valmiki Rishi is going to give us an analogy, iva, or a simile. So we get a sense of what that emotion feels like, or what it visually is describing. So it's within our experience, because he's taking something that is transcendental, which I don't have an experience of, and bringing it to give us a sense of what our experience might be, so that there is something relatable from this world. That's one. Another possible word that comes again and again, is interchangeably the word harsha or shubham or shubham. Shubham is plural. Shubham, auspiciousness. So we'll go word by word. There's English translation below. Generally, I'm not very happy with the way it's written, but we're going to go word by word and relish it. So Tam, that's Sita Devi, or she, Tathagatam, as she is in that state. What is that state? She's holding on to the branch, her hair, her braid around the branch and around her neck. Vyatitham, completely in distress. Aninditam, but is beyond any reproach. One cannot offer any ninda to Sita Devi because she's about to give up her life. Someone might say, oh, that is suicide, and that is called a ninda because people don't look upon very favorably upon someone who's committed suicide. But Valmiki is telling us aninditam. Also that her character is spotless. So there is absolutely no chance of any ninda towards her. At that time, plus she is also paridina manasam. That's the last word in the second line. Paridina, completely in a helpless condition. And her mind is like that. Paridina manasam. At that time, tathagatam vyapeta harsham. Suddenly, her body became, vyapeta is to shiver with harsham, with great joy. Because shubhani nimittani jushtam. Jushtam means to acquire. She acquired, or in this case, she experienced shubhani nimittani, very auspicious indicators. Oh, and these indicators came to her suddenly. It's not like she brought them. They came to her. How? Iva bhejire, naram bhejire shriya shubham iva upajivinaha. Just like a very wealthy man. So for someone who becomes very wealthy, bhejire means wealthy or adorned with or graced with wealth. Naram, such a person. Shriya, that is wealth. Shriya bhejire. Upajivinaha. All friends, relatives, well-wishers flock towards such a person because that is the power of wealth. Real friends are those who stay with us in difficulty, in distress, during times of impoverishment. Those are the ones. And money or wealth is such that when a person becomes rich, all sorts of people become friends. Everybody says, I'm your well-wisher. There are people who say, I'm related to you because they're attracted by the wealth, not the person. So a wealthy person doesn't have to call for friends and relatives. They come naturally. They're attracted. Similarly, all these auspicious qualities came to her. Shriya bhejire naram jushtam iva upajivanaha. Just like a wealthy person automatically attracts servants, well-wishers, relatives, etc., Sita Devi attracted all these harsham qualities, all these qualities of joy and happiness. Next verse. Tasyaha shubham vamam arala pakshma rajivritam krishna vishala shuklam praspandataikam nayanam sukeshya Meena hatam paddam ivabhitamram. Fantastic verse. Fantastic verse. Tasyaha, of her, shubham, auspiciousness, Vamam, left side, Arala Prakshmam. Vamam Nayanam, that the word is in the third line. Vamam Nayanam means the left eye. Arala Pakshma, one with very nicely curved eyelashes. Pakshma is eyelash. And Arala is curved. Sita Devi's eyelashes are very beautifully curved. And Rajivritam, and they're in a perfect row. And how does her eye look? Krishna Vishal Shuklam. There is a black eyeball in a very broad white space. Krishna is black, Vishala is very big or broad, Shuklam, white eye that she has. In that, there is a nice round eyeball. And what happened to her left eye? Praspandatam ekam. Suddenly, it throbbed. Spandana means to react or to say something or to respond. Praspandana means to throb. It twitched like this. And Sita Devi's beauty is Sukeshya. She has very beautiful hair. Remember that hair is round her neck and round a branch. Sukeshya. And that left eye throbbed. How? Meena hatam padmam ivabhitamram. Just like a lotus that is in a placid pond suddenly shaken by a fish that hits the stem. Have you seen fish in water? They swim, suddenly they change directions, and it's very abrupt. So in a pond full of placid water where there are lotus stems, the fish that is swimming in water, when it hits the stem, the lotus just shakes a little bit. That is how Sita Devi's left eye twitched. So we're getting a close-up of Sita Devi's eye. Now that's the rasa aspect. From a devotional aspect for us, one may ask, what is the application? Why are we reading this? Of course, the application is we want to hear about the loving exchanges between Sita Devi and Sri Ramachandra. The reason she is getting all these symptoms is because her mind is so strongly attracted to Sri Ramachandra, who's not there personally with her, but he gives indications to her. Similarly, for us, during certain aspects of life, we get certain indicators. And these are ways in which we believe that the Supreme Lord is interacting with us by these indications. We call them sometimes reciprocation. And it is important to be awakened to what those indications might be. Now, one possibility is we can take anything and everything as indicators. Is there a harm in it? Actually, no. If it helps us to be more devotionally strengthened and inclined, then any indication is good enough for us. That's fantastic. If the yena kenava, this way or that way, if our mind is attracted to the Supreme Lord, that's what counts. Here Ramachandra is indicating, I will be there soon, or you will be with me soon. As devotees or practitioners, this verse has another meaning. According to Sri Govindaraja, he says that Sri Ramachandra is the large body of water. Like in every morning we sing, Kalyana Gunarnavasya, that he is the ocean of all auspicious qualities. So in this large body of water, all the fish that swim are the pure devotees, because they cannot live without that water. You take a fish out of water, it dies. A pure devotee cannot survive without being connected to the Supreme Lord, or in other way, they're always connected. Back in Ayodhya Kanda, when Ramachandra was leaving for the forest, Lakshmana gives this example. I am like a fish in water. I cannot be separate from you. I will die the very moment you separate from me. And the lotuses are the jivas who are all nourished, sustained by the Supreme Lord, but are just there. And it is important that the fish-like pure devotees once in a while hit against our lotus stem as a way of intervening and shaking things up, of changing things for us. And that intervention of the pure devotees is extremely critical for a jiva's life. Otherwise, it is just status quo, moved by Maya. So this verse is an indicator of grace. Therefore, Shubham. It is very auspicious when one comes in contact with a pure devotee who intervenes in our life. And therefore, the example is of Meena Ahatam Padmam Ivabhi Tamram. Tamram, red lotus. A little shake-up is required. Okay, so that's in her left eye. Then in her left shoulder. For a woman, if the left eye, the left shoulder, or the left thigh twitch or throb, it's an auspicious sign. For a man, if it's the right eye or the right shoulder, it's an auspicious sign. If it's the opposite, then it is inauspicious. In the 11th and 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kali Yuga is just about to begin, Yudhishthir Maharaj describes, my left eye is throbbing. Something inauspicious is going to happen, which is the onset of Kali Yuga. So Bhujascha and her shoulder, Chara Vinchita Pina Vrittam. Char Vinchita means Charu Anchita. Anchita, shaped. Pina means very fleshy. Vrittaha, nicely curved. So her left shoulder, which was very beautifully shaped, curved and fleshy. But what is the use of that left shoulder? Pararthya Kala Guru Chandanarha. That shoulder is most eligible to be anointed with Aguru and Chandana. The reason being, it is meant for Pararthya Kala. It is meant for service of Ramachandra. Para Artha, for the benefit of Para, that is Sri Ramachandra. So her application of Aguru and Chandana is all for Ramachandra's pleasure. And how did Ramachandra enjoy that shoulder? Anuttamena, that very incomparable personality. Sri Ramachandra, Adhyushita, as a pillow. Priyena, for her darling beloved Ramachandra, she used that shoulder as a pillow. And for not a short time, Chirena, for a very long time, Sri Ramachandra would lay down on her shoulder. Now, Chirena means for many years. They were together in the forest for 13 years. And Chirena means when Ramachandra would lie down, he would be so comforted that he could take a very long nap on her shoulder. Chirena Vamaha, on her left shoulder. Samavepata Ashu. Vepata is to shiver or to throb. Ashu, very quickly. So just as quickly as her eye twitched, her left shoulder, which was beautiful, rounded, fleshy, which was used for Sri Ramachandra's which was used as a pillow for Sri Ramachandra for a very long time, very suddenly throbbed or twitched. Now her thighs. Gajendra hasta pratimascha pina. Pina means fleshy. Tayor dvayoh samahatayoh sujataha. Praspandamana punarururasya Ramam purastat sthitamach achachakshe. So Valmiki now describes her left thigh. He says, her thigh is here in the third line. Ururasya. Punaha. Again and again, her left thigh was throbbing. And how is her thigh? Gajendra hasta pratimascha. It is like the shape of the trunk of an elephant. Not just an elephant, the king of an elephant. Gaja Indra. That is, it is thick or broad on the top and it thins as it comes to the knee. Pina, fleshy. And Tayor, Dvayor, Samahatayoho. The thighs, they touch each other. Among them, one of them, he says, Sujata, both her thighs are very well formed. Yet, Praspandamanaha, it was throbbing again and again. And it indicated, so apparently in the Shakuna Shastra, for a woman, if her left eye, left shoulder, and left thigh, all three at the same time twitch or throb, it is an indicator that she will be with her lover very soon. So for her, the indication is Ramam Purastat. Purastat, right in front of her. Sthitam Achachakshe. She will see Ramachandra face to face quite soon. Ashu. That is the indicator for her. Next verse. Shubham punarhema samana varnam. Ishat rajodhvastvam iva amalakshayaha. Vasasthitaya shikharagradantyah kinchit parisamsrita charugatraha. Now, she was standing there. Sthitaya, in the third line, Sthitaya, she's standing. Something else happened. As she's standing there, Valmiki is describing to us how she looks. Amalakshaha, she has very pure, pristine eyes. Shikharagradantyah, her teeth are perfectly formed. They're not gaps between them, one big, one small, discolored, nothing like that. Very, very beautiful. Shikharagra, like the buds of a jasmine. Dantya, and they're very well formed in a perfect row. And she's wearing Vasaha, the cloth that she is wearing, Ishat, slightly, Rajodhvamsam. It has been soiled by the dirt. And that cloth, which is Hema Samana Varnam, golden in color, yet slightly soiled by dirt. That cloth, Vasa, as she was standing there, Kinchit Parisamsrata, very slightly slipped from her. And that Valmiki is saying is Shubham. And Charugatra, very, very beautiful form that she has. But it is called Shubham because as part of Shringara Rasa, when the cloth on the body slips on its own accord, not intentionally done, slips on its own accord, it's called Shubham, auspiciousness that she will meet her hero, her lover very soon. Etair nimitteir parashcha shubhroho Sambhodita pragapi sadhu siddhaihi Vatat pakladtamiva pranashtam varshena bijam pratisamsaja harsha. Again, fantastic verse. There is a eva. So there is an analogy in this verse. So etair, all these, nimittair, all these indicator, paraischa and others were constantly showing up in her body. And what does Sita Devi's face look like? Subhruhu, very beautiful eyebrows, perfectly shaped, perfectly curved. And when these indicators came, she knew that they're shastrik, not just some awkward thing. Why? Sambhodita prag api. Previously, they have all been written down, or Sambhodita have been described by sadhu siddhaihi. They're all been described as good, sadhu, by siddhais, but those who are perfected in this science. Now, siddhai also means fortune tellers. And fortune tellers tell or predict the future. Oh, such and such time, things will be auspicious for you. They'll go well or whatever. Or there might be a danger here. There might be something there. So they are all harbingers or indicators of something auspicious coming for her. And that all this has been written down in the science of Shakuna Shastra. Now, the joy that Sita Devi is experiencing is in the next two lines. Iva, just like vatat plakantam, pranashtam bijam, like a seed that was very, very strongly withered away by wind and scorched by the hot sun. So a seed cannot germinate anymore. But varshena, when there is a heavy downpour of rain, that bija, that seed, again comes to life. Pratisamsaja harsha. That happiness. And how does a seed show happiness? It starts to germinate. It starts to sprout. So in Sita Devi, all the joy that had died away by the tormenting of Ravana, who was hot like the sun, and the Rakshasis that were withering her enthusiasm, suddenly these indicators were like a shower of rain that brought her heart back to life. Varshena bijam pratisamsaja harsha. Then, tasyaha, of her, Sita Devi. Punaha, again. Bimba phaladoroshtham. Bimba, we're going to sing this during Kartik, again and again, every evening, that Krishna's cheeks became reddish, like the bimba fruit, that is the pomegranate. Swakshi bhru keshanta marala pakshmam. Vaktram bhavase sitashukla damstram rahor mukha chandra eva pramuktaha. Again, there is eva. That means there's an analogy for us. So the first three lines describe her beauty. Tasyaha, for her, again, punaha, bimba phala adhara oshtham. Adhara, lower lip. Krishna will say, adharam madhuram, is very beautiful, sweet lower lip. So in this case, Sita Devi's lower lip. What's the upper lip called? Oshtham. So adhara oshtham, bimba phala. They're like this reddish colored, like that of a pomegranate fruit. Swakshi, suakshi, very beautifully shaped eyes. Bhru keshantam. And her eyebrows are so well curved that they reach almost where her hair is. Keshantam. Arala Pakshma, curved eyebrows. Another way of reading this is Su Akshi Bhru, very beautifully formed eyes and eyebrows. Keshantam Arala Paksham, that the curve of her eyelashes go all the way to where her eyebrows are. Vaktram, her body, or her face actually, Bhabhase, became bright. And Sita Shukla Damstram. Sita, white. Shuklam, pure. Damstram, all her teeth are white and very pure. But Vaktram Bhabhase, her face became brightened like the moon. The reason we're able to see Sita Devi's teeth is because of her smiling. She's thinking of Sri Ramachandra and smiling. And so Valmiki is telling us that he's able to see her teeth and her face has lit up like Rahor Mukhat Chandra Iva Pramuktaha, just like the moon that has been released by Rahu. Today is lunar eclipse day for us. Although it's in the afternoon, we may not be able to see how Rahu captures some or a bigger part of the moon and then releases it. But when Rahu captures the moon, the beautiful full moon is not visible. And as soon as Rahu leaves it, the brightness seems to be almost increasing non-stop. Like that, Sita Devi's face became very illumined. Sa Vita Shoka Vyapanitandri Shanta Jwara Harsha Vibuddha Sattva Ashobhat Arya Vadanena Shukle Shitam Shuna Ratrir Ivoditena. Again, there is an Iva. Sa, she, Vita Shoka, all her sorrow went away. Vyapanitandiri, a woman who was under distress. Shanta Jwara, the feverish condition that she had because of not being with Ramachandra, Shanta, her feverishness went away. Harsha Vibuddha Sattva, her entire being was overjoyed. Ashobhat, she became decorated. Arya, that great lady, Sa Arya, Ashobhat. And Vadanena Shukle, her face became pure and bright. How? Shitam Shuna, like in a dark night, Ratrir Ivo, Shita means cooling. Amshuna, by the moon, Ratrir Iva Uditena, when the black sky is suddenly illuminated by the cooling presence of the moon. And by the cooling presence of the moon, her entire jwara, feverishness went away. So that Sri Ramachandra, the full moon arose in her heart. And so all her feverishness went away. And that's the end of the verses. So that's this chapter done. Let's see if there are any comments, reflections. You liked something, you didn't like something. You have any thoughts to share? Next chapter is our hero Hanuman falls into dilemma. What should I do? Should I say something? Should I not say something? Etc. So for which I'm already on the edge of my seat. Smartphone disconnected. Okay, any comments, thoughts? Yes, go ahead.
I was contrasting this description of Mother Sita with the description of how she was feeling or how she looked when Ravana took her away and Lord Hanuman saw her the first time from the tree. So she was emaciated and the clothes were all dirty and as if she didn't take bath for a very long time. But now this is such a big contrast. Just thinking of Lord Ramachandra, she's become so effulgent and radiant. I have a question or a clarification. Is this Trijata's dream still going on?
No, this is not Trijata's dream. Trijata described her dream a few chapters ago.
Okay. And this is what Hanuman is seeing right now.
This is what Valmiki is describing to us. Whether Hanuman is exactly seeing it that way, we don't know, because he's going to now decide what is. But this is Valmiki Rishi, who has this very unique blessing that the entire Ramayana will be revealed to him as it happened, including every character's mind and what was going on inside their mind.
Thank you, Prabhu.
This chapter, because it is only what I call it Ashtaka, 8 verses, has a great application that whenever any one of us finds ourselves, which is often, in some sort of distress, some sort of calamity, some sort of pain, or where our enthusiasm can get low, these are the verses that tell us that Sri Ramachandra is listening. And whether he is in front of us or not, someday, if it is possible that we get darshan of him, up until then, from our heart, he will continue to inspire us just by invoking these 8 verses of what Sitadevi is feeling. We can say nobody is in the condition that Sitadevi is in. And we hope that nobody ever is in. But the reality is that we're all captured by Ravana-like mind. And within that, she has stayed firm and she has somehow made sure that Ravana cannot disturb her at all. For that, Ramachandra is reciprocating wonderfully with her. And so may he also do so. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Dadadi buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. That through the intelligence or through, it gives indicators that we can hold on to and continue to nourish ourselves on this journey. Okay, anyone else? Any thoughts?
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna Prabhu.
I will send all the 8 verses on our WhatsApp. Sure, absolutely. Sorry, I cut someone off. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, this is Vatsana Devidasi. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Who is it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, go ahead.
Many thoughts were coming, but one of the things that stood out somehow in that description was when you talked about her teeth and how she smiled. And I was, just moments ago, seemed like, she was almost on this, from a mundane point of view, on a suicide mission. And suddenly here's, there is this reverse, like a complete contrast of being despondent to suddenly remembering the Lord. And, when she was smiling, and so we could see her, we get to hear the description of her teeth. I was contrasting this with the Krishna's pastime where Radharani is with Krishna. But then, when the bee comes and I think one of his Gopa friends says that Madhu is gone, opposite happens. She is with him, but in the next moment, she's crying tears of separation. And again, like these are just so far out there. It is hard to, it's not in realm of my experience, but I think we can appreciate based on what you are saying. So I just wanted to express my appreciation for that. And the second thing was, the sagunam is a word that I've heard from my childhood. Nalla sagunam, ketta sagunam. Like a good omen or a bad omen. And also, if I remember in Mahabharata, also, we hear how Yudhishthir Maharaj, saw animals going this way. So it seems like, they were so in tune with indications from their own body, indications from from nature around them, that everything communicated.
Yes.
Again, I was contrasting it with my own situation. Like I've had experiences, for like, something, like there'll be an inkling, or today, I should do something, and I would not listen to that inkling from within, and then I when I go through the experience of, oh, I should have listened to that strong indication from within my heart. So how far removed I am from, from myself, my bodily, whatever, a little bit, and nature, so far removed that I don't even see them. Like, I don't even see it. Yeah, I was comparing and contrasting those two situations. Thank you, Prabhu.
What was the last sentence? I didn't hear what you said after.
Yeah, I was saying, like, in this conditioned state, that very far removed from everything, but on the other side, and case like Sitadevi or pure devotees like Yudhishthir Maharaj, for them everything is an indication to God, Krishna's will.
And everything in the present. I noticed for myself, for example, that all of my realizations are from hindsight. It's not while it is happening for me. I can't tell. One, because it is so, oftentimes I find myself not even in the present. And that's an exercise or a practice that I'm trying to cultivate, that I want to be present. I want to be present. But there's so much that is moving around me that many times I'm not. So it's always hindsight. Oh, like that. Oh, that was the indication. Oh, that was a little what I thought was an indicator, etc., etc. Now, Shakuna Shastra in Kali Yuga is a hard one because there is so much distortion of things and everything. So it's hard to catch. That is also there. But in the Ramayana, there are 18 subject matters, and Shakuna Shastra is one of them. And so Valmiki makes sure that there is enough there. Second, in the Shringara Shastra, or the works of this kind of love between a Nayaka, who's the hero, and a Nayaki, there are all these symptoms given by the great Bharata Muni. Now, Bharata Muni came later, Valmiki is far previously, but all of these are there. And what I appreciate is Srila Rupa Goswami took and gave us sort of the anatomy of it. So we know this is this, that is Dhawan, this is this bhava, that is called Vibhava, that is called Sanchari, these are this type, this is this. He sort of gave us the whole anatomy of it in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Valmiki doesn't tell us that, he's just narrating, but all the symptoms are very nicely sprinkled all over for us to take and, I guess, relish and enjoy and hold sacred for ourselves. But thank you for expressing, Varshana Mataji. Anything else? Anyone? You like this chapter? Short, but fantastic, no? At least for me. So I don't know if I was able to convey the joy and enthusiasm. If not, well, sorry. But if you like, great. Anything else? I will send all the verses in WhatsApp. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Danut Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I am just wondering that you once you told that you are very fond of reading, and you also, I mean, naturally you have that love for Lord Sri Ramachandra and Sitadevi. So Prabhuji, you read and you make notes and you prepare these slides side by side, or you first just read and then after that you, I mean, I want to know the mood in which you are reading. I was just imagining that in my case, if I like when I was reading Sri Ramcharitmanas, so at that time when I was reading, so I was so I mean, I loved it so much that I just kept reading, and I didn't like any kind of disturbance. I don't want to do anything of it. I didn't made any notes or something. And like you were like in today's class, you actually showed that presentation. So I was wondering that you read and side by side you make that presentation, or you read in a very absorbed mood and after that you think that okay, for us, I should be preparing this.
Well, thank you for what you said. Part of it is true, part of it is not true. I read, but I'm not absorbed. I would like to be. I'm praying that someday I'm actually absorbed really well. I generally don't, if you noticed, I never shown you verses and all that, because one, it's a lot of work and I don't have that kind of time. But these 8 verses are so special that I felt that I would be, by not sharing them, and I'd be doing a disservice for all of you. I wanted us to see the words, the way they're organized, the way the beauty is in the verses. So I took the extra time to put it together. But do I read like that? No, I have read twice now. And as I'm reading, I scribble something on the side. But if something touches me, then it's in my head all day. For example, for the past 10 days or more, there are a set of couple of verses that is from Kishkinda Kanda, where Tara is warning Vali, don't go fight with Sugriva the second time. And she glorifies Sri Ramachandra. There's beautiful verses. Nivasa Vriksha Sadhunam, Apannanam Paragati, etc. That stays in my head. And I just recite them, try to remember them. But I make certain mental notes and then notes on the side. But then my weekly study includes writing these notes and preparing for being with all of you, because I don't want to just come and not be prepared, because you all are taking so much time out of your busy lives. And so I would not want to, be of disservice. But that's it, not specifically. I mean, I do take certain notes, I make certain points, I write, but that's how it is. But I'd like to be absorbed someday.
Prabhuji, we are definitely blessed that a person who is so much, I mean, you are just saying it, but I just know that you really are actually absorbed in it. And we are seriously blessed that a person like you is here for us to make extra efforts and to take us into that same mood. It's seriously very, very, I mean, I myself would say that it's not every time I'm not 100% attending your classes, but whenever it is possible, I make sure I am attending. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You're welcome. Honestly, you as the audience, all of you, actually put a lot more effort than I do, because speaking is one sense easier. Sitting there, bringing your attention to what is being spoken and being like, because when the person is speaking, he or she is engaged. When a person is sitting and listening, that takes so much more effort. And it has so many other layers, the speaker, the way, so the audience actually puts a lot more effort, for which I'm extremely, extremely grateful to all of you. Thank you. Anyone?
Prabhuji, one more thing, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Can I just speak in Hindi? It takes effort for me to speak in English. So I translate in my mind and then I speak. So प्रभु जी, आप अपने notes कभी पढ़ते हैं या आप हम लोग के लिए notes बनाते हैं?
Don't know. I read my notes too, but mostly I'm not every time my thoughts are not so organized in this way. Meaning, if I were to speak on these verses another time, it may be conveyed differently. But I have the notes that at least helps me set the phrase. For example, I don't have any notes for the 8 verses that we read. I have notes prior to what I said before reading the verses. So I have no notes for the 8 verses because they're just verses. I didn't offer any explanations. I was just going word by word and I guess having us enjoy or relish the poetry of it, the description of it. I didn't offer any explanations, so I don't have any notes for that. So to answer your question, do I see my own notes? Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, final anything for 1 minute, otherwise I'm going to head out.
So Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
So Prabhuji, you're reading from Valmiki Ramayan only, right, Prabhu? Like Valmiki Ramayan, because I have Valmiki Ramayan and Ramcharitmanas, like some of them devotees, they say Valmiki Ramayan only we should follow. Ramcharitmanas has some other things that is not in Valmiki Ramayan, something like that.
Well, Valmiki Ramayana is the baseline. It's the Adi Kavya, the very original description of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that it negates or invalidates other Ramayanas. Vyasadeva wrote a Ramayana. So many. Hanumanji wrote a Ramayana. Tulsidas Goswami wrote a Ramayana. There are within every region of India, there is a Ramayana in different languages. They're all inspirations on taking Valmiki Ramayana as the basis. That's number one. Second, in certain Ramayanas, there are episodes or aspects that may not be in Valmiki Ramayana. And for example, in Ramcharitmanas, he very clearly says that this is because of Kalpa Bheda, which means another day of Lord Brahma when the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra happened. Every day, Lord Ramachandra appears and conducts these pastimes. So in the previous day, although the storyline is the same, the specifics and episodes may look different, but it doesn't invalidate. Every Ramayana fantastic, unless the Siddhanta is all messed up or someone just creates something. But all these are wonderful, wonderful books to read and relish.
Okay.
Even Krishna's pastime, if you see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are pastimes there, and in the other Puranas, the same pastime is there with certain details, extra this thing, another perspective that may not be given in Bhagavatam. But these pastimes are there in the different Puranas.
Oh, okay. So, Prabhu, we're going to have class every week or every day?
Every day, every Saturday.
Every Saturday. Okay. Yeah, very nice, Prabhu. Thanks for giving this Zoom class. I'm really enjoying. Previously, I joined another Ramayana. Mataji also was very big devotee, but I was not releasing any of her Ramayana, like the resources or anything. I'm not able to find any connection there. So when Maharaj referred your name in the class, I really wanted to join. I really wanted to learn Ramayana, which is for a very long time. I'm not able to go on the track. So
that devotee may be very advanced. We are all just the pedestrian nursery or kindergarten level. So this is wonderful for all of us.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. She's very advanced and she's very fast. So for me, this is very, very comfortable levels that I can really learn from you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you all very, very much. I wish all of you a fantastic Kartik month. Kartik month today is the full moon Sharada Purnima. On this Sharada Purnima, our Sri Ramachandra cried piteously, sitting on Mount Prasavana, feeling the absence of Sitadevi. Yet that full moon is arising in our heart, and we pray that this Kartik month, he too, along with Sita Devi and Lakshmana and Bharata and Kshatrugna and all of his associates, all being served by Sri Hanumanji, also rise in our dark night, midnight-like heart, so that this full moon can enlighten us, calm us, remove all the jvara, the burning, the tapa, and that within that cool moonlight of their presence, we can find joy and opportunities for serving them happily. Thank you. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman
Lakshman.
Ji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.